Diving into one of the most beautiful, emotional, and controversial Italian films ever made, Malena. Directed by Giuseppe Tornatore and starring the unforgettable Monica Bellucci, this powerful World War II drama tells a heartbreaking story of beauty, loneliness, prejudice, and survival. Join me as we explore the complete story of Malena, a film that continues to captivate audiences around the world more than 2 decades after its release. Malena is a 2000 historical romantic drama film written and directed by Giuseppe Tornatore, based on a story by Luciano Vincenzoni. Set against the backdrop of World War II in a small Sicilian town, the film tells a powerful and emotional story about beauty, desire, loneliness, and the harsh judgments of society. The movie stars Monica Bellucci in the title role as Malena Scordia, a stunning young woman whose beauty captivates nearly every man in town, while simultaneously making her the target of envy, gossip, and cruelty from many of the women around her. Alongside Bellucci, Giuseppe Sufaro plays Renato Amoroso, a teenage boy who becomes fascinated with Malena and watches her life unfold from afar, serving as the audience's window into the story. The film explores themes of coming of age, unrequited love, social prejudice, and the devastating effects of war on ordinary people. Through Renato's eyes, viewers witness how Malena's life is shaped not only by the events of World War II, but also by the relentless rumors and judgments of the community around her. As her circumstances become increasingly difficult, the film presents a moving portrait of a woman struggling to survive in a society that simultaneously idolizes and condemns her. Upon its release, Malena received widespread attention for its striking visual style, emotional storytelling, and Bellucci's memorable performance. The film's atmospheric cinematography beautifully captures the sun-drenched landscapes and wartime atmosphere of Sicily, while the haunting musical score enhances the story's emotional depth. Critics particularly praised the film's visual presentation and its ability to blend romance, nostalgia, drama, and social commentary into a compelling narrative. The movie earned significant international recognition and won the prestigious Grand Prix at the Cabourg Film Festival in 2001. It was also honored with 2 nominations at the 73rd Academy Awards, receiving recognition for Best Cinematography and Best Original Score. These nominations highlighted the film's outstanding technical achievements and artistic excellence, helping to establish Malena as one of the most acclaimed international films of its era. Today, the film remains a beloved classic, remembered for its emotional impact, elegant filmmaking, and powerful exploration of human nature during one of history's most turbulent periods. On June 10, 1940, life changes forever in the small Sicilian town of Castelcuto. For a young teenage boy named Renato Amoroso, that single day becomes unforgettable because 3 important events happen at once. First, Italy officially enters World War II, bringing uncertainty and fear to the lives of ordinary citizens. Second, Renato receives a brand new bicycle, a prized possession that gives him a sense of freedom and independence. But the third event is the one that leaves the deepest impression on him. He catches his first glimpse of Malena Scordia. Malena is the most beautiful woman in town. Her striking appearance and graceful presence immediately captivate Renato, who becomes fascinated by her from the moment he sees her. To him, she seems almost unreal, like a figure from a dream. However, Malena's beauty affects everyone around her. The men of Castelcuto admire and desire her, often staring at her whenever she walks through the streets. At the same time, many of the town's women resent her, viewing her beauty as a threat and responding with jealousy, suspicion, and hostility. Malena lives a lonely life. Her husband has been sent to North Africa to fight for the Italian military against British forces during the war, leaving her alone in town. With no family of her own nearby and few genuine friends, she becomes increasingly isolated. Her reserved nature only fuels the gossip surrounding her. Because she rarely socializes and keeps to herself, people begin inventing stories about her, spreading rumors without any evidence. The constant attention from men and the bitterness of the women make Malena an easy target for the town's judgment. Every move she makes is watched and discussed. Rather than being treated with kindness or understanding, she becomes the subject of endless speculation and malicious gossip. Despite her difficult circumstances, Malena remains devoted to caring for her elderly father, who is physically infirm and depends on her assistance. She looks after him faithfully, hoping to maintain at least one meaningful relationship in her life. However, even this bond is eventually damaged by the cruelty of the townspeople. One day, her father receives an anonymous letter filled with slanderous accusations about his daughter. Influenced by the lies and rumors contained in the note, he turns against Malena and rejects her. The rejection is devastating, leaving her even more isolated and vulnerable than before. This tragic turn of events marks the beginning of Malena's struggle against a society that judges her not for who she is, but for what others imagine her to be. Through Renato's eyes, the audience witnesses how beauty, loneliness, and prejudice combine to shape the fate of a woman trapped in a world determined to misunderstand her. Malena's life takes an even more tragic turn when she receives devastating news from the war front. Her husband has been killed in combat. Already burdened by loneliness and social isolation, she is suddenly forced to face the pain of becoming a widow at a young age. The loss leaves her emotionally shattered, and with no real support system around her, she must endure her grief largely on her own. Instead of showing sympathy, the townspeople become even more judgmental. Rumors and gossip surrounding Malena grow stronger with each passing day. Every aspect of her life is scrutinized, and even the smallest actions are twisted into scandalous stories. In a town eager to believe the worst about her, Malena finds herself trapped by public opinion. The situation escalates when an unmarried Air Force officer begins visiting her home during the evenings. Although the visits appear innocent enough, they quickly become the subject of widespread speculation. Matters become even more dramatic when the officer has a confrontation outside Malena's house with the local dentist, another man who has taken an interest in her. The public dispute fuels the town's imagination, convincing many residents that the rumors about Malena must be true. Soon, the gossip grows so severe that Malena is formally accused of adultery and forced to defend herself in court. The accusation is deeply unfair, built more on suspicion and prejudice than on actual evidence. The Air Force officer, meanwhile, has already been transferred elsewhere. Rather than standing beside her and risking his own reputation, he submits a statement from abroad claiming that he was merely an occasional friend and that there had never been a romantic relationship between them. His testimony helps undermine the accusations, but it also leaves Malena feeling abandoned. The man whose visits had sparked the controversy distances himself completely when she needs support the most. Despite the emotional pain this causes, Malena refuses to retaliate. She does not accuse him, expose him, or attempt to damage his reputation. Instead, she silently accepts yet another betrayal. Eventually, the court finds her not guilty, and she is acquitted of all charges. However, her victory proves hollow. The trial may have cleared her legally, but it does little to repair the damage done to her reputation or her emotional well-being. After the case concludes, Malena faces another cruel violation. The lawyer who represented her takes advantage of her vulnerable situation and sexually assaults her, cruelly claiming that this is the payment he expects for his legal services. The attack reveals how powerless and isolated she has become, surrounded by people who see her not as a human being deserving of dignity and respect, but as someone they can exploit for their own benefit. Even after this betrayal, the lawyer continues to pursue her and pressure her for a relationship. Yet despite everything she has endured, Malena refuses to give in to his advances. She repeatedly rejects him, holding on to her sense of self-respect even as the world around her becomes increasingly hostile. These experiences further demonstrate the film's central theme, a woman struggling to maintain her dignity and humanity while facing relentless judgment, exploitation, and cruelty from the society around her. As Malena's suffering continues, Renato becomes increasingly determined to protect her. In his young mind, she is no longer just the woman he admires from afar. She becomes someone he feels personally responsible for defending. Watching her endure constant humiliation, false accusations, and loneliness fills him with anger toward the people who continue to make her life miserable. Unable to openly challenge the adults around him, Renato turns to small acts that make him feel as though he is helping her. He prays fervently, asking God and the saints to watch over Malena and shield her from harm. His prayers are sincere, reflecting the genuine concern he has developed for her well-being. He also takes quiet revenge against some of the people who spread rumors about her or treat her cruelly, carrying out petty acts of retaliation whenever opportunities arise. To Renato, these actions make him feel like her guardian and protector. He imagines himself standing against the injustice that surrounds her, fighting on behalf of someone who has been unfairly targeted by the entire town. In many ways, his feelings have evolved beyond simple teenage attraction and become mixed with sympathy, admiration, and a desire to rescue her from her troubles. Yet, despite his good intentions, Renato fails to recognize an important truth. Like most of the townspeople, he continues to view Malena through the lens of his own desires and fantasies rather than as a complete human being with her own thoughts, fears, and emotions. The men of the town see her as an object of desire, while the women see her as a rival or a threat. Renato believes he is different, but in reality, he also creates an image of Malena in his mind that has little connection to the person she truly is. He spends so much time imagining what she means to him that he rarely stops to consider what she herself might be experiencing. He sees her beauty, her sadness, and her struggles, but he does not fully understand her inner life. He never truly asks what she wants, what she dreams about, or how deeply the constant judgment and isolation have affected her. This realization forms one of the film's most powerful themes. Renato may care about Malena more genuinely than most people around him, but he is still trapped by his own idealized vision of her. He loves the image he has created in his imagination, while the real Malena remains largely unseen and misunderstood by everyone around her. The tragedy is that even those who wish to protect her often fail to recognize her as a person in her own right, leaving her isolated not only by cruelty and gossip, but also by the inability of others to truly understand her. As World War II intensifies, its devastation finally reaches Sicily. The Allied forces begin bombing the region, bringing destruction and chaos to the once familiar streets of Castelcuto. Amid the turmoil, Malena suffers another heartbreaking loss when her father is killed during one of the attacks. His death leaves her completely alone in the world, with no family support, no source of income, and a reputation that has already been destroyed by years of gossip and prejudice. Malena finds herself in an impossible situation. The townspeople who once judged her now openly reject her. Employers refuse to hire her, and even basic necessities become difficult to obtain. Many residents treat her as an outcast, refusing to show compassion despite her obvious suffering. As her circumstances become increasingly desperate, Malena is forced to make painful choices simply to survive. Rather than offering help, many people in town seem almost pleased by her downfall. The woman who was once admired for her beauty has been reduced to a symbol of scandal and disgrace in their eyes, and some take satisfaction in seeing her humbled. The situation becomes even more complicated when German forces occupy the town. In an effort to endure the harsh realities of wartime life, Malena begins associating with members of the occupying military. Her appearance changes, and she becomes a familiar presence among some of the German soldiers. To the townspeople, however, this only provides another reason to condemn her. Their resentment and hostility toward her grow stronger than ever, and she becomes the target of even harsher judgment. Renato, who has spent years idealizing Malena, struggles to cope with what he sees happening to her. The image of the woman he has admired for so long clashes with the harsh realities of survival during wartime. Witnessing her in the company of German soldiers overwhelms him emotionally, demonstrating just how deeply his feelings for her have affected him. Concerned about his unusual behavior, Renato's family searches for explanations. while his mother fears supernatural causes, his father takes a far more practical approach, believing that Renato's obsession stems from adolescence and youthful infatuation. Through these experiences, Renato continues his difficult journey toward adulthood, gradually confronting the difference between fantasy and reality. Meanwhile, Malena's tragedy deepens. The war, the loss of her family, the cruelty of her neighbors, and the constant misunderstandings surrounding her have left her more isolated than ever. Yet beneath the rumors and accusations remains a woman simply trying to survive in a world that has shown her very little mercy. The film uses these events to highlight not only the devastation caused by war, but also the damage that prejudice, envy, and social cruelty can inflict on an individual. As the war nears its end, the balance of power in Castelcouteaux changes dramatically. American forces arrive and liberate the town, bringing an end to the German occupation. The streets fill with celebration as residents cheer the arrival of the Allied troops. For many people, it is a moment of relief and joy after years of hardship, fear, and uncertainty. For Malena, however, the liberation brings a new nightmare. During the occupation, her association with German soldiers had made her one of the most hated figures in town. Although the townspeople had spent years judging and condemning her, many had remained silent while the Germans controlled the area. Once the occupation ends and the German soldiers are gone, that restraint disappears. The anger, jealousy, and resentment that have been building for years finally erupt. A mob of furious townswomen storms into the hotel where Malena is staying and drags her out into the street. What follows is one of the film's most painful and disturbing moments. The women publicly humiliate her, physically attacking her while unleashing years of hatred and bitterness. They tear at her clothing, strike her repeatedly, and forcibly cut off her hair in front of a crowd. The attack is not simply an act of revenge. It represents the culmination of everything Malena has endured throughout the film. For years, she has been judged for her beauty, blamed for the desires of men, targeted by rumors, and condemned for choices she made while struggling to survive. Now, all of that hostility explodes into a brutal act of public humiliation. Perhaps most heartbreaking is the reaction of those who witnessed the assault. Renato, who has spent years admiring and claiming to care for Malena, is among the spectators. So are many other townspeople. Yet no one steps forward to stop the violence. No one defends her. The crowd watches as the attack unfolds, revealing how deeply prejudice and conformity have infected the community. Even those who may feel sympathy remain silent. Broken, humiliated, and left with nothing, Malena realizes that she can no longer remain in Castelcouteaux. The town has rejected her completely, and staying would only expose her to further abuse. With no other option, she leaves the place that has caused her so much suffering, hoping to find safety elsewhere. Then, only a few days later, an unexpected twist changes everything. Nino Scordia, Malena's husband, long believed to have been killed during the war, returns home. Though he has survived, the war has left its mark on him. He comes back missing an arm after years as a prisoner of war. Expecting to reunite with his wife, he instead discovers that she is gone. Confused and determined to find her, Nino begins searching for Malena, unaware of the terrible treatment she has endured during his absence. His return introduces a glimmer of hope into a story that has been filled with tragedy, suggesting that Malena's painful journey may not yet be over. The moment also serves as a bitter reminder of how much suffering could have been avoided had the town shown her even a fraction of the compassion and understanding she deserved. When Nino returns to Castelcouteaux after years of war and imprisonment, he discovers that the life he left behind has completely disappeared. His family home has been taken over and converted into a refugee shelter, housing people displaced by the conflict. The familiar world he hoped to return to no longer exists, and his first concern is finding Malena. However, the townspeople who once spent years gossiping about her suddenly become unwilling to talk. The same people who eagerly spread rumors about Malena now refuse to tell Nino what happened to his wife. Some are ashamed of their actions, while others simply want to avoid responsibility for the suffering they helped create. Whenever Nino asks questions, he is met with silence, evasive answers, or uncomfortable looks. As he searches desperately for information, it becomes clear that no one is willing to tell him the full truth. No one wants to admit how cruelly Malena was treated, how she was abandoned by the community, or how the town ultimately drove her away. Among all the people of Castel Couteau, Renato is the only one who decides to help. Over the years, Renato has matured and begun to understand the reality of Malena's life. He has witnessed her suffering, her humiliation, and the injustice she endured. Unlike the others, he feels compelled to do something meaningful at last. Unable to speak directly with Nino, Renato leaves him a signed note. In it, he reveals the most important truth he has come to understand about Malena. Despite all the rumors, accusations, scandals, and hardships that surrounded her, she remained loyal in her heart to one man alone. Renato tells Nino that, through everything that happened, he was the only man Malena ever truly loved. The note also explains that Malena endured terrible misfortunes during his absence, and that life in Castel Couteau became unbearable for her. Renato informs him that she was last seen boarding a train headed toward the city of Messina, offering the only clue to her whereabouts. This moment marks an important turning point in Renato's character. For the first time, he acts not out of obsession or fantasy, but out of genuine understanding and compassion. He finally sees Malena not as an idealized figure from his imagination, but as a real woman who suffered deeply and deserved far better than the treatment she received. The note also serves as a powerful condemnation of the town itself. While the community chooses silence to hide its guilt, Renato chooses honesty. His message gives Nino hope and sets in motion the search for the woman who has endured years of loneliness, loss, and persecution. It is one of the film's most emotional moments, as the truth about Malena finally begins to emerge from beneath the lies and rumors that have defined her life for so long. A year passes, and life in Castel Couteau begins to settle into a new normal after the devastation of war. Then one day, the townspeople witness something many never expected to see. Nino and Malena return together to the town. The couple is seen walking peacefully through the streets, side by side. For the first time in years, Malena is no longer alone. She has been reunited with the husband she never stopped loving, and their return symbolizes the possibility of healing after so much suffering. The reaction of the townspeople is striking. The same women who once gossiped about her relentlessly, spread rumors about her, and ultimately participated in her public humiliation, now view her differently. Time has changed Malena's appearance somewhat. She no longer carries the image of the mysterious, unattainable beauty who inspired desire and jealousy throughout the town. She appears more mature, more settled, and more like a respectable married woman living an ordinary life. Ironically, it is this change that finally earns her the acceptance she was denied for so many years. The women who once regarded her as a rival no longer see her as a threat. Their hostility fades, revealing how much of their cruelty had been driven by envy and insecurity rather than any wrongdoing on Malena's part. When Malena visits the marketplace, the transformation in people's behavior becomes even more apparent. The very women who once attacked and humiliated her now greet her politely. They address her respectfully, call her madam, and even offer her goods and assistance. Their sudden kindness highlights the hypocrisy of a society that condemned her when she was vulnerable and embraces her only after her circumstances have changed. One day, as Malena walks home carrying her shopping, some fruit accidentally falls from her bag onto the street. Renato, now older and wiser than the boy who once secretly followed her everywhere, immediately rushes forward to help gather it. As he hands the fruit back to her, Malena thanks him warmly for his help. She has no idea that this young man is the same person who secretly left the note that helped reunite her with Nino. She does not know how closely he followed her life, how much he admired her, or how deeply her struggles affected him. For Renato, however, the moment carries enormous emotional significance. After years of watching her from a distance, imagining conversations that never happened, and building fantasies around her, he is finally standing face to face with the real Malena. Instead of expressing his feelings or revealing his role in helping her, he simply wishes her good luck. Malena responds with a mysterious, gentle half-smile before continuing on her way. It is a brief exchange, but it is also one of the most meaningful moments in the entire film. Throughout the story, Renato and Malena have existed in each other's lives without ever truly connecting. He spent years observing her, while she remained largely unaware of his presence. Now, for the first and only time, they speak openly to one another and share a genuine moment of human connection. The scene serves as the emotional conclusion of Renato's coming-of-age journey. He has finally moved beyond obsession and fantasy, learning to see Malena not as an idealized symbol of beauty and desire, but as a real person who endured extraordinary hardship with remarkable dignity. Her smile remains open to interpretation. It may be gratitude, understanding, forgiveness, or simply a polite acknowledgement, but it leaves a lasting impression on Renato and on the audience. The ending of Malena is both bittersweet and hopeful. Although the town can never undo the suffering it inflicted upon her, Malena survives, reunites with the man she loves, and regains a measure of peace and respect. Meanwhile, Renato emerges from adolescence with a deeper understanding of love, compassion, and the complexities of human nature. The final encounter between them quietly brings both of their journeys to a close, ending the story on a note of reflection, maturity, and redemption. As the story comes to an end, an older Renato looks back on the events of his youth with the wisdom that comes from age and experience. Years have passed since the war, since his days as a curious teenager, and since the brief moment when he finally spoke to Malena. Life has taken him in many different directions, and he has met countless people along the way. Renato reflects that over the course of his life, he has known many women. He has fallen in love, formed relationships, and experienced the joys and disappointments that come with adulthood. Many faces and memories that once seemed important have gradually faded with time, becoming distant echoes of the past. Yet one person has remained unforgettable. Despite the passing years, Renato has never forgotten Malena. His memories of her are not simply those of a teenage crush or youthful obsession. With maturity, he has come to understand that Malena represented something much deeper. She was the person who first awakened him to love, desire, compassion, injustice, and the complexities of human nature. Through her, he witnessed both the beauty and the cruelty that people are capable of showing one another. Looking back, Renato remembers not only her extraordinary beauty, but also her loneliness, dignity, resilience, and suffering. He remembers a woman who was misunderstood by nearly everyone around her, judged for things beyond her control, and forced to endure hardships that she did not deserve. While others saw only rumors and appearances, Renato eventually came to recognize the humanity behind the legend that the town had created. His final reflection gives the film its emotional resonance. Malena was not unforgettable because she was the most beautiful woman he ever saw, but because she left an indelible mark on his life and shaped the person he would become. She remained a symbol of a pivotal moment in his journey from innocence to maturity, a reminder of the lessons he learned about love, loss, prejudice, and empathy. With this closing thought, Malena ends on a nostalgic and poignant note. Renato's words suggest that while memories of many people may fade over time, some individuals become permanently woven into the fabric of our lives. For Renato, Malena was one of those rare people, someone whose presence, however brief and distant, could never truly be forgotten. The film features a talented cast led by Monica Bellucci as Maddalena Malena Bonsignore Scordia, the beautiful and tragic woman at the center of the story. Bellucci's performance relies heavily on expression, presence, and emotion rather than dialogue, allowing her to portray Malena's loneliness, dignity, and suffering with remarkable subtlety. Her portrayal became one of the most iconic performances of her career and played a major role in establishing the film's lasting reputation. Giuseppe Tornatore stars as Renato Amoroso, the teenage boy whose fascination with Malena serves as the audience's window into the story. Through Renato's eyes, viewers experience the transition from childhood innocence to adulthood, while witnessing the impact that Malena has on both the town and his own personal development. Solfaro's performance captures the confusion, curiosity, and emotional intensity of adolescence. Luciano Federico plays Renato's father, a practical and often humorous figure who represents a more grounded perspective on life. Throughout the film, he attempts to guide his son through the challenges of growing up while dealing with the realities of wartime Sicily. His character provides several moments that balance the film's heavier emotional themes. Matilde Piana portrays Renato's mother, a caring but protective woman deeply concerned about her son's behavior and well-being. Like many parents, she struggles to understand the emotional and physical changes Renato experiences during adolescence. Her character adds warmth and authenticity to the family dynamics that run alongside the film's central narrative. Together, these performances help bring Malena to life, creating a powerful and emotionally resonant story set against the backdrop of World War II. While Monica Bellucci's portrayal of Malena remains the film's most celebrated element, the supporting cast plays an essential role in depicting the social environment, family relationships, and community attitudes that shape the story's events. Pietro Notarianni appears as Bonsignore, the local schoolteacher. As one of the educated figures in Castelcuto, his character represents the traditional authority present within the town. Although not a central figure in the narrative, Bonsignore helps establish the social atmosphere of the community and the everyday environment in which Renato grows up during the turbulent years of World War II. Gaetano Aronica portrays Antonino Nino Scordia, Malena's husband. At the beginning of the film, Nino leaves to serve in the war, forcing Malena to face years of loneliness and hardship on her own. News of his presumed death becomes one of the key events that shape Malena's tragic journey. However, in one of the story's most emotional twists, Nino eventually returns home after surviving the war as a prisoner of war. Though physically scarred by his experiences and missing an arm, he remains devoted to his wife and plays a crucial role in the film's hopeful conclusion. Gilberto Idonea plays Sentorbi, the lawyer who represents Malena during her adultery trial. While initially appearing as someone who might help her during one of the darkest periods of her life, his character ultimately becomes another example of the exploitation and mistreatment Malena faces. Sentorbi's actions reveal the hypocrisy and moral corruption hidden beneath the respectable image of certain members of society, reinforcing the film's themes of power, vulnerability, and injustice. Angelo Pellegrino portrays the local fascist party boss, a figure who embodies the political authority of wartime Italy under Benito Mussolini's regime. His presence serves as a reminder of the broader political climate surrounding the story. Through characters like him, the film illustrates how fascist ideology and wartime politics influence everyday life in the small Sicilian town, shaping the attitudes, behaviors, and social structures that affect Malena and the other residents. Together, these supporting characters enrich the world of Malena, providing important social, political, and personal influences that help drive the story. Whether representing authority, family, law, or political power, each character contributes to the complex portrait of a community whose prejudices and actions profoundly affect Malena's life. One of the most celebrated aspects of Malena is its beautiful and emotionally powerful soundtrack. Composed by the legendary Ennio Morricone, the score plays a crucial role in shaping the film's atmosphere and emotional impact. Rather than relying heavily on dialogue, the film often uses music to express Malena's loneliness, Renato's longing, and the bittersweet emotions that run throughout the story. Morricone's compositions blend elegance, romance, nostalgia, and melancholy, perfectly complementing the film's wartime setting and deeply personal narrative. The music enhances many of the film's most memorable moments, helping audiences connect with the characters' emotions and the beauty of the Sicilian landscape. His score became one of the film's most widely praised elements and is often regarded as one of the standout works from the later years of his remarkable career. The soundtrack received significant international recognition for its artistic excellence. It earned a nomination for Best Original Score at the 73rd Academy Awards, placing it among the year's most acclaimed film scores. It was also nominated for Best Original Score at the Golden Globe Awards, further highlighting the impact and quality of Morricone's work. Although the score did not win either award, the nominations reflected the widespread admiration it received from critics and industry professionals. Today, the soundtrack remains one of the most beloved elements of Malena, remembered for its haunting melodies, emotional depth, and its ability to capture the film's themes of love, loss, beauty, and memory. Upon its release, Malena received a mixed response from critics, despite earning praise for its visual style, performances, and musical score. While many reviewers admired the film's cinematography, emotional atmosphere, and the performance of Monica Bellucci, others felt that the story's treatment of its central character was problematic. According to Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 54% based on 78 critic reviews, with an average score of 5.6 out of 10. The site's critical consensus argues that, despite being centered on Malena, the film ultimately presents her more as an object of fascination than as a fully developed character. Critics behind this view felt that the story spends much of its time showing how others perceive Malena rather than exploring her own thoughts, feelings, and perspective. They also believed that Renato's deep emotional attachment to her was not always convincing because the audience learns relatively little about Malena's inner life. Similarly, Metacritic, which aggregates and weights reviews from major critics, assigned the film a score of 54 out of 100 based on 22 reviews. This rating falls into the category of mixed or average reviews, reflecting the divided opinions among professional critics. Much of the critical debate surrounding Malena focused on its central theme. Some reviewers argued that the film intentionally portrays Malena through Renato's idealized perspective, making her seem distant and mysterious because that is how the young protagonist sees her. Others felt that this approach limited the character's depth, preventing audiences from fully understanding her as an individual beyond the fantasies and judgments imposed upon her by those around her. Despite these mixed critical assessments, Malena found a strong audience over time and has since gained a reputation as a cult favorite. Many viewers and film enthusiasts praise its emotional storytelling, stunning Sicilian setting, unforgettable score by Ennio Morricone, and Monica Bellucci's iconic performance. As a result, the film remains widely discussed and appreciated, even as debates continue about its portrayal of gender, desire, and the male gaze. Reviewing Malena for Variety, David Rooney offered a balanced assessment of the film, praising its craftsmanship while expressing reservations about its overall impact. Rooney noted that Malena was a much smaller and more intimate project than director Giuseppe Tornatore's previous film, The Legend of 1900. He described Malena as a beautifully made period drama that follows the obsession of a young teenage boy with a captivating woman living in a small Sicilian town during World War II. According to Rooney, the film successfully combines two narrative threads: Renato's coming-of-age journey and the tragic experiences of Malena, a woman whose beauty becomes both a blessing and a curse. He acknowledged the film's visual elegance and emotional atmosphere, but felt that it lacked the depth and complexity needed to fully explore its themes. In his view, the story did not delve deeply enough into its ideas, nor did it offer enough thematic weight or contemporary significance to become a major crossover success among art house audiences. At the same time, Rooney recognized several qualities that could appeal to viewers. He pointed to the film's sensual and romantic elements, as well as its nostalgic portrayal of a bygone Italy. The picturesque Sicilian setting, combined with Tornatore's affection for Italian culture and memory, evokes the same sense of longing and nostalgia found in his earlier acclaimed film Cinema Paradiso and in Il Postino. Rooney suggested that these qualities, along with the film's visual beauty and emotional appeal, could help attract audiences despite its perceived narrative shortcomings. His review reflects one of the central critical debates surrounding Malena. While many critics admired its cinematography, music, atmosphere, and Monica Bellucci's screen presence, some questioned whether the film fully developed its themes and characters. Nevertheless, even critics who were less enthusiastic often acknowledged the film's technical excellence and its ability to create a powerful sense of time, place, and nostalgia. Today, Malena is often remembered less for the mixed nature of its initial reviews and more for its enduring emotional impact, striking visuals, and its exploration of beauty, desire, memory, and the consequences of societal judgment. Renowned film critic Roger Ebert offered a thoughtful but somewhat critical review of Malena, comparing it to the works of legendary Italian filmmaker Federico Fellini. Ebert observed that the film shares certain similarities with Fellini's movies, particularly in its portrayal of adolescent boys who become captivated by women who represent their fantasies and desires. He specifically referenced Fellini classics such as Amarcord and 8½, noting that those films also feature young men fascinated by idealized female figures. However, Ebert believed that Fellini approached such subjects with a greater sense of humor and self-awareness. In his view, Fellini understood the absurdity and comedy that often accompany sexual obsession, allowing audiences to recognize both the emotional intensity and the irony of those experiences. By contrast, Ebert saw Malena as a more straightforward and less complex story. He argued that the film focuses on a young boy who becomes so captivated by a woman that he effectively falls in love with an idea rather than the real person. Renato's devotion, according to Ebert, is directed toward an idealized image of Malena rather than toward understanding her as an individual with her own inner life and struggles. Ebert also felt that the film's tone becomes increasingly dark as the story progresses. While he appreciated some aspects of the narrative, he believed that the later tragedies experienced by Malena were presented with a level of severity that felt disproportionate to what had come before. In particular, he questioned whether the story successfully built enough emotional foundation to support its most dramatic and heartbreaking moments. As a result, Ebert concluded that the film's ending seemed designed to evoke a profound emotional response from viewers, but did not fully achieve the impact it was aiming for. In his opinion, the emotional payoff was weaker than the filmmakers intended because the narrative had not sufficiently developed its themes and characters along the way. Despite these criticisms, Ebert's review acknowledged one of the film's central ideas: Renato's tendency to love an image of Malena rather than truly knowing her. Interestingly, this observation aligns with a theme many viewers and later critics have identified as one of the film's key messages. Throughout the story, nearly everyone in Castelcuto projects their own desires, fears, or prejudices onto Malena, rarely seeing her as a complete human being. Renato eventually comes closer than most to understanding her, but even he spends much of the film captivated by an idealized vision. Ebert's assessment became part of the broader critical conversation surrounding Malena. While some critics praised its visual beauty, emotional atmosphere, and Monica Bellucci's performance, others shared concerns about the depth of its characterization and storytelling. Nevertheless, the film has endured long beyond its initial reviews, gaining appreciation from audiences for its evocative depiction of wartime Sicily, its memorable score by Ennio Morricone, and its poignant exploration of memory, desire, and the consequences of societal judgment. Following its theatrical run, Malena was made available for home audiences through releases by Buena Vista Home Entertainment under the Miramax Home Entertainment label. The film was distributed on both DVD and VHS formats during 2001, allowing viewers around the world to experience the acclaimed Italian drama from their homes. The home video release expanded the film's international reach, particularly in English-speaking markets. Copies were released in several countries, including Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States. These releases helped introduce the film to audiences who may not have had the opportunity to see it during its theatrical run and contributed to its growing reputation among international viewers. In the United States, The DVD edition was officially released on July 19, 2001. The release came shortly after the film had gained attention for its critical acclaim, award nominations, and the widely praised performance of Monica Bellucci. As home video was still one of the primary ways audiences revisited films at the time, the DVD release played an important role in helping Malena build a lasting fan base. The availability of the film on DVD and VHS also allowed viewers to revisit its memorable cinematography, Ennio Morricone's celebrated musical score, and Giuseppe Tornatore's evocative depiction of wartime Sicily. Over time, these home media releases helped Malena transition from a critically debated theatrical release into a film that developed a strong following among lovers of international cinema. The home media history of Malena continued to evolve long after its initial DVD and VHS releases. In December 2010, a major change occurred when Miramax was sold by the Walt Disney Company, which had owned the studio since 1993. During the same period, Miramax was acquired by the private equity group Film Yard Holdings, marking a new chapter for the studio and its extensive film library. After taking control of Miramax's catalog, Film Yard Holdings began licensing distribution rights for many of the company's films to other entertainment distributors. Among these agreements was a partnership with Lionsgate, which obtained home media rights to several Miramax titles in the United States. As a result, Malena was reissued on DVD in the United States on April 12, 2016, making the film available to a new generation of viewers and collectors. This re-release helped keep the film accessible years after its original home video debut and reflected its continued popularity among fans of international cinema. Earlier, on March 26, 2012, Malena received a British Blu-ray release through Studio Canal. At the time, Studio Canal had a European home video distribution agreement with Film Yard Holdings, allowing the company to release a high-definition edition of the film for audiences in the United Kingdom and other parts of Europe. The Blu-ray release was particularly significant because it presented Giuseppe Tornatore's visually rich film in high definition, giving viewers an enhanced appreciation of its acclaimed cinematography, detailed period setting, and the striking performance of Monica Bellucci. For many fans, the Blu-ray edition offered the best home viewing experience available, showcasing the film's artistic qualities with greater clarity and detail. These later DVD and Blu-ray releases ensured that Malena remained widely available more than a decade after its original theatrical debut, helping the film maintain its status as one of the most recognized and discussed works in Giuseppe Tornatore's filmography. The international home media presence of Malena continued to expand in the years following its original release. On January 25, 2013, the film received a Blu-ray release in South Korea through Green Nure Media. Although the exact licensing arrangements were not publicly detailed, the release was believed to have been made possible through rights obtained from Film Yard Holdings, which controlled the Miramax film library at the time. The South Korean Blu-ray edition further broadened the film's international availability and allowed audiences in Asia to experience the movie in high definition. For collectors and fans of world cinema, these Blu-ray releases were particularly valuable because they highlighted the film's stunning visual presentation, atmospheric depiction of wartime Sicily, and the acclaimed performance of Monica Bellucci. The film also became available through the growing world of online streaming. In 2011, Film Yard Holdings reached an agreement with Netflix, licensing a large portion of the Miramax library to the streaming platform. This deal included Malena, making the film accessible to subscribers through digital streaming at a time when online viewing was rapidly becoming a major part of the entertainment industry. The Netflix agreement lasted for 5 years and helped introduce Malena to viewers who may never have encountered it through theatrical screenings, television broadcasts, or physical media. Through streaming, the film reached a broader audience and continued to build its reputation among fans of international cinema and historical dramas. The licensing arrangement eventually came to an end on June 1, 2016, when the 5-year streaming deal expired. By that point, however, Malena had already benefited from years of digital exposure, allowing a new generation of viewers to discover Giuseppe Tornatore's poignant wartime drama. Combined with its continued DVD and Blu-ray availability around the world, these streaming and home media releases helped ensure that the film remained accessible and relevant long after its original release in 2000. The ownership and distribution rights of Malena changed once again during the late 2010 seconds, as the Miramax film library passed through new corporate hands. In March 2016, FilmYard Holdings sold Miramax to Bein Media Group, a media company based in Qatar. The acquisition gave Bein control over Miramax's extensive catalog of films, which included numerous acclaimed titles released over several decades, among them Malena. A few years later, another major development occurred. In April 2020, Viacom CBS, now operating as Paramount Skydance Corporation, acquired a 49% stake in Miramax from Bein Media Group. As part of the agreement, Viacom CBS obtained distribution rights to a vast portion of the Miramax library, consisting of approximately 700 films. Malena was included among the titles covered by this arrangement. The deal significantly expanded Viacom CBS's film portfolio and provided the company with access to a large collection of well-known and critically acclaimed movies from the Miramax catalog. As a result of the agreement, distribution responsibilities for Malena shifted to Paramount Pictures beginning in April 2020. Since then, Paramount has handled the film's distribution as part of its management of the Miramax library. This corporate transition ensured that Malena remained available through modern distribution channels, more than 2 decades after its original release. The film's inclusion in the Miramax library acquisition demonstrates its continued value as a recognized international classic. Alongside hundreds of other notable titles, Malena remains part of a catalog that continues to reach audiences through theatrical reissues, television broadcasts, streaming services, and home media releases around the world. The home media journey of Malena continued into the 2020 seconds as the film remained an important part of the Miramax catalog, managed by Paramount Pictures and Paramount Home Entertainment. On September 13, 2022, Paramount Home Entertainment reissued Malena on DVD in the United States as part of a broader effort to bring numerous Miramax titles back into circulation. Rather than creating entirely new packaging, Paramount retained the same cover artwork that had been used for the earlier American DVD releases distributed by Buena Vista Home Entertainment and later by Lionsgate. The most noticeable change was the addition of Paramount's iconic mountain logo to the packaging, matching the branding used on many of the company's other Miramax reissues. This release demonstrated the film's enduring appeal more than 2 decades after its original debut. Despite the evolution of streaming platforms and digital distribution, Malena continued to attract collectors and physical media enthusiasts who preferred owning a copy of the film. The movie's international availability also expanded during this period. Paramount later licensed distribution rights in Australia to Imprint Films, a boutique home video label known for releasing collector-focused editions of classic and acclaimed films. As a result, Malena received an Australian Blu-ray release on June 28, 2023. The Blu-ray edition gave Australian audiences another opportunity to experience Giuseppe Tornatore's visually stunning drama in high definition. For many fans, the format offered the best way to appreciate the film's celebrated cinematography, detailed wartime Sicilian setting, and the memorable performance of Monica Bellucci. These releases highlight how Malena has continued to maintain its presence in the home entertainment market long after its original theatrical run. Through multiple DVD reissues, Blu-ray editions, streaming agreements, and changes in corporate ownership, the film has remained accessible to audiences around the world. More than 20 years after its premiere, Malena continues to be regarded as one of the most recognizable works directed by Giuseppe Tornatore, ensuring that new generations of viewers can discover its poignant story of love, memory, beauty, and societal judgment. As the entertainment industry increasingly shifted toward digital platforms, Malena continued to find new audiences through streaming services. Following Paramount's acquisition of distribution rights to the Miramax library, the film became available on Paramount Plus, Paramount's subscription-based streaming platform. This allowed subscribers to access the film alongside a large collection of movies, television series, and other content available through the service. The addition of Malena to Paramount Plus helped introduce Giuseppe Tornatore's acclaimed drama to a new generation of viewers who primarily consume entertainment through streaming rather than physical media. For many audiences, the platform provided a convenient way to discover or revisit the film's emotionally powerful story, stunning cinematography, and celebrated musical score by Ennio Morricone. In addition to its availability on Paramount Plus, the film was also made accessible through Pluto TV, Paramount's free ad-supported streaming service. Unlike subscription platforms, Pluto TV allows viewers to watch content without a paid membership, making Malena available to an even broader audience. Its presence on both premium and free streaming services demonstrates the film's enduring appeal more than 2 decades after its original release. Through DVD and Blu-ray reissues, international home media editions, and modern streaming platforms, Malena has remained widely accessible, ensuring that audiences around the world can continue to experience the unforgettable story of Malena Scordia and Renato Amoroso. The film's lasting availability reflects its continued status as one of the most recognized and discussed works in the career of Giuseppe Tornatore and one of the most memorable Italian dramas of the early 21st century. And that brings us to the end of the story of Malena, a poignant tale of love, loss, memory, and the devastating consequences of judgment and misunderstanding. Through Malena's struggles and Renato's journey from adolescence to adulthood, the film reminds us how easily society can condemn those it fails to understand. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie recaps, reviews, and film history content. Thanks for watching.